Hello everyone. I want to introduce some basic ideas of traditional Chinese dietary therapy and also to compare it with Western nutritional sciences. So first of all is some basic notion of Chinese medicine. The most important basic notion is yin and yang. Yin and yang means like something opposite, like two things they are opposite. And this is actually the basic of traditional Chinese medicine. For everything, they have yin and yang. They can get yin and yang from the world, and also they can also become yin and yang. It's an interaction between an individual. I mean, the individual is not just person, but also some food, some animal, some vegetables, plants. They all have yin yang, and everything must be have a balance of yin and yang. If the balance of yin and yang is no matter here, is not here, the thing cannot continue. And if this is not balanced, people need to get some way to rebalance the balance. This means to get more yin or get more yang in order to become balanced. The second basic notion of Chinese medicine is five elements. The five elements is actually not just in China, but it's very common in many South Asia country and East Asia country. So the five elements means the five basic elements to construct the world. Actually, in ancient Greek philosophy, different philosophers also have some similar idea related to the basic elements to construct the world, such as air or fire, water, like different philosophers have different ideas, such as the Taylors believe that water is a very basic thing, just for example. And in China, there are five different elements: fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. They construct the world. There are two different relationships between them. The first one is support. It means fire support earth, earth support metal, metal support water, water support wood, and wood support fire. So it's actually very close to the real world. For example, if you put enough wood and ignite it, it will get large fire. So that's wood support fire. So it's experience from the life. The second relationship is surprise, suppression. So it's like this: fire suppress metal, metal suppress wood, wood suppress earth, earth suppress water, and water suppress fire. It's also from the real life. For example, like water can stop fire. Like the fireman use water, to stop fire. So it's two basic relationship. Here is consistency. Consistency, like every element has something consistency. So for example, wood, like the wood, the first part is orientation. Orientation is east, season is spring, climate is wind, cultivation is germinate, yin organ is liver, yang organ is bladder. So in Chinese medicine, like different organs belong to different elements, and they also have the yin and yang for balance. Other things like eye, tendons, and it's also related to anger, and for taste is sour. So in traditional Chinese medicine, if a person is very easy to get angry, it will result in some terrible things in liver. And for sour, it means, in spring, it's the best time to eat sour food. It's good to liver and blood, also to eye. So they are consistent. For other elements, they also have something similar, and it's quite close to, like the medical view in North America. They are also something consistent. So I believe many people have something like old connection in the ancient time, even much more close than we know now. And here I want to compare some other medical systems. The first one is medical views, and the second is the Tibetan medicine. Tibetan medicine has four elements. The first one is fire. A second is earth. Third one is water, and last one is air. Actually, this is air, and this one is earth. So this is a Buddhism, ideal world. It's a world, and the Buddha who is expertise in the medicine live in this world. And this is four basic elements. The last one is Miao. It's a Miao doctor. Miao is indigenous people in south part of China and also in many regions of Laos. This one is Ayurveda, like Indian medicine. So in Indian medicine for food, there are three basic notions: Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So different food have different features for those three food, and actually they also have a balance to achieve a balance. So actually, I have compared with Indian medicine, Ayurveda, and the traditional Chinese medicine. Some are same and some are different. Also similar to like Chinese medicine and nutritional science. There are something in common and something actually different. So here is where like traditional Chinese food therapy from. It's from this book. In Chinese Mandarin, it's called Huangdi Neijing. Huangdi is a very ancient people in legendary story. But maybe there is a real person, but people don't know who it is. And some people said it's a tribe, and all the tribe leaders called Huangdi. Uh, no one knows. Just like we call like the king of UK, we call that king. And the leader of the tribe, people call Huangdi. No one knows. And this book has been translated into English. It's the Yellow Empire's Classic of Medicine. In the second chapter, the book discusses how to, how to eat in different seasons. Like in the spring, we need to eat more, like soft food. Like in summer, it's better to eat some bitter food. So it was introduced in the second chapter of the Yellow Empire's Classic of Medicine. So this book is a textbook for traditional Chinese medicine food therapies. But actually nowadays, I feel that many Chinese medical school, I mean for traditional Chinese medicine, they do not learn some basic notions for Chinese medicine, but only learn some very Western, notions and only use Chinese medicine. But actually, in the ancient time, it's like the Chinese medicine is taught through like teacher to to students. Like they live together for many years, and a teacher can only taught like 5 or 7 like students, very few students, and not like today. And in traditional medicine, even the same medicine, for example, like a plant, the same plant from south part of the mountain and the north part of the mountain, they are different. They have different yin and yang. It's different, but now because of like industrialization, many medicine are produced in pharmaceutical company. So it's far from traditional food therapy. In traditional food therapy, there are 4 types of food: cold, cool, warm, and hot. And actually, this is not temperature, but this is like inner feature, like the inner feature which can change people's inner body. So it does not mean that you throw like the fire, you can heat that. No, it's because of inner factor. But although like heating can change somehow, like for cold food, it's like many many vegetables and fruits belongs to cold food, like banana or watermelon. And for cool food, like also some fruit and vegetables like orange, cabbage, soybean, pear. And for warm food, it's like many staples are warm food, like rice noodles, bread, and some chicken or pork, some meat. The last one, hot food, is always like grilled food and some chocolate and some vegetables in south part of the world, like lychee, and also like lamb, coffee. And actually, different people have different ideas. There are many different denominations of traditional Chinese medicine in different part of the world because they are highly affected by nature. That's like different food can be different in different taste book. As for taste, they are fat. It's pungent, sweet, sour, bitter, and salty. And different season has a tendency to eat different food. For example, in spring, it's better to eat more soft food. So the last slide is for the consistency between traditional Chinese food therapy and Western nutrition. There are something common, for example, like liver. In Chinese food therapy, liver can tonify liver. nourishing blood and brighten eyes. Invest in nutrition because liver is full of vitamin A, vitamin B12, and iron. Like vitamin A is good for eyes, and iron is good for blood. So this is something in common. But for greens, it's kind of different. In traditional medicine, Chinese medicine, greens it's good for heart and for qi. Qi is means some it's like energy, which can circulate people's body. If the circulation is is fluid, like people is in good health. If there's something is blocked, for example, like the heart is blocked, like there will be something wrong with the heart. So this is qi, and the greens is the basis of qi. Thus, eating greens is very important, for people's well-being. Here it might be not the same because qi is very important in Chinese medicine, and thus greens is the most important food. But in Western nutrition, although like different, nutrients are similarly important, but protein seems like in many textbooks seems more important than other nutrients. It's different. And the greens in Western medicine, Western nutrition is mostly the sources of carbohydrate and some minerals. So this is something different. Well, this is the end of my introduction, and thanks for your watching. So the conclusion is that like different nations had different way of thinking and different traditional food system, traditional medical systems, and they have something in common and something different. As I believe that different food systems, medical systems can support each other to direct like the future study to find something in common. Thank you. That's all of my presentation.